Whenever I talk with someone for the first time, someone said, hey, Daniel, we saw you on social media and we're seeing your videos, want to work with you guys. Let's get into a phone call. Great. One of the first questions that I ask is, what are you reading? If the CEO said, well, the last book I read was the Bible like 7 years ago, I know it's not going to be my client. If someone says, well, I'm reading this, and then I'm reading this, and by the way, this is the next book that I'm reading, and I'm so excited about learning, we're going to have a great relationship because we build learning organizations. And usually starts with the head of the company being a lifelong learner. If the head of the company is not a lifelong learner, it's impossible for me to drive a learning organization. So that's my 7%. As an example, there's 3 types of entrepreneurs. Mountain climbers, that they want to grow, they want to scale. The second type is what they call freedom fighters, and they want freedom. They want a business that is operatable, that gives them the food and the revenue they want, and be able to have freedom in their life and take 2 months vacation on the rest. And the third one is what we call craftspeople, or the ones that want mastery. At the Growth Institute, who do we serve? Mountain climbers. That's our main thing, right? Second one is freedom fighters. We don't serve the craftspeople. Tell me what course that we have about a great product, quality. We have no course on that. We have a lot of courses on how to grow, and we have a lot of courses on how to reduce drama to allow you to have more freedom, not in craftspeople. Like Steve Jobs will never train with me. I would go to the 20 complaints, and then I will go through the complaints and see, okay, I'm going to be really, really good at these 3 things, and I'm going to be terrible at these other 3 or 4. And once you understand what you're going to be good at and what you're not going to be good at, it's okay. Southwest said, I'm going to serve executives, middle age, 30 to 50, that they fly a lot. That's where I'm going to go. And if you are someone older and you want to fly with your grandkids, you're going to hate Southwest Airlines. Indeed, I love this story in Southwest Airlines that one day, this older woman in her 70s, she went to a Southwest flight. And when they were talking about security, you know, the typical speech at the beginning of security, the crew person did a rap, said the security in a rap. And the woman got offended that something as important as security of a plane, they did a rap. So when she got to her destination, she wrote a letter to the CEO saying, I think it's a really, really bad taste and lack of importance that you allow your employees to do a rap to tell security or tell the speech of security. The CEO of Southwest Airlines got the letter and said, oh my God, this is perfect. Went out to the corridor, invite all the employees that were on the corridor and said, I got this letter. And he read the letter to the team. This is what I'm going to respond. Dear Miss Smith, whatever, we're going to miss you. Thank you. That was the response. And then he went to the PR team and said, go and buy 2 pages of the Dallas Morning News. When you open the paper, in 1 page, publish the letter that the lady sent me, and the other page, put my response. And on the top, I want you to say, if you don't want to have fun, don't come to my airline. I was like, what? How can you say that? And the guy said, if you want to have fun, this is our airline. That's why we call it the Love Airline. If you don't want that, go to another airline. We've never had a plane going down. We've never go away from security. But even if we tell you the typical, you're not going to hear it because you've heard it so many times, you're going to be zoomed out. If we make a rap, more people hear it and understand the security speech. So we go with the people that want to fly a lot, want to be on time, keep whatever, but most importantly, that are so tired of flying, they want to be a little bit different, to have a little fun, a variety. That's his 7%. And they're one of the biggest airlines in the US. But they understand that that 7 is the one that spends the most. McDonald's, I love their strategy. I hate McDonald's. My kids have never eaten McDonald's. By the way, quick funny story. My wife always told my kids that it's really, really bad food, McDonald's. One day I was stranded in an airport and the only thing open was a McDonald's place. So I ate at McDonald's, and the next morning when I got home, I was in breakfast telling my kids that I just had McDonald's the day before. My daughter was like 4. She started crying. And I was like, why are you crying? Well, you're going to die. Like, what do you mean I'm going to die? Well, if you eat McDonald's, you're going to die. Like, that's how much my wife has told them that is not good food. But I love the strategy. McDonald's said it's going to be ready when you come into McDonald's. It's going to taste exactly the same. And it's going to be fun for the kids. That's it. It never tells you it's going to be great quality. It's going to be great flavor. But who is the buyer of McDonald's? Usually a family with small kids. When you come with a restaurant with small kids, if when they you order, they take 20 minutes to get your food, your kids are jumping in your chairs and you want to keep them entertained. So you want the food to be fast there. 2, it has to taste the same. If they bring them a different flavor, your kid says, I don't like it, then throws the food. It has to taste exactly the same wherever you're in the world. And once your kids eat, you want them to be entertained so you could eat yourself. That's why you always have fun for the kids. So they knew that their 7% is younger couples with kids. And that's the one who they serve. Some people around there go and eat, but they just serve, and everything is designed for young couples with young kids. The one-page plan of scaling up is divided in 3 main areas. What we call the core. That's who you are. That's never going to change. And your core is your purpose, your core values, and your strengths or core competence. That's who you are. So you first have to say, okay, this is who I am. Then you're going to understand your weakness and the trends. And so, okay, based on the trends in the market and my weaknesses, and based on who I am, why I want to do this and who I am, I have a certain niche that I could serve, right? It gives you kind of an idea of who are you a right match. It's like, as an example, I've never run a Fortune 500. It'll be impossible for me to say, I'm going to do an institute to train executives for Fortune 500. I don't talk the language. I don't have the experience of doing it. So I'm not the right guy to do that. But I've scaled a lot of companies from 0 to 1,000 employees. I know the drama of scaling companies to 1,000 employees, right? That's who I am. That's my core competencies. And that's the people I move with. I'm around. I've been in EO for 22 years and in YPO for 7. I understand. Those are the people I talk to. It's my friends. So I have to understand where I am and who I am, and then build a strategy that is aligned to that, and then plan and execute. But for me, this has to come based on who you are. So I recommend that before you choose your 7, get a deep understanding of who you are. Why are you here? What are your core values? And what are your core competencies or strength? And it's okay, based on who I am and the trends of the market, this is what I'm going to do. And then you could choose your 7%. But one thing, the FDT, what is the base? Strengths, weaknesses, and trends. We said that typical SWOT gives you myopia, because when I ask you for the threat, you give me something that is happening today. On a trend, you tell me something in the future. So I want to understand my FDT, my strengths, weakness, and trends. And based on that and who I am and my why, then I'm able to build my strategy and build who I want to be or where I want to compete. Thank you, Ivan. There's a column 6 called the theme. And for you to put a theme, usually your priority number 1 of the quarter, you put a theme around it. This is how you're naming your strategy of the quarter. So I would use this format. And in the class of Scaling Up, that if all of you guys are MBD All Access, you have access to Scaling Up, I would go and see when Vern talks about the theme and said, you first have to tell them what's the goal, what's the objective that you want to accomplish. Then what theme name, what's the name of the theme? And if you're going to celebrate it, the reward, what's the target, what's the number, and what's the deadline? This is what I would use for naming it.